Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Deb Gillard, your host of the program, and today is Friday, June 15th. We thank you so much for joining us, whether it's out on the web, however you found us on our Facebook page, or here locally in the Owatonna area, of course, on Charter Cable TV. And we do ask that you take note of our cell phone numbers and email address on the screen throughout the course of the program. That's for information to pass along to us about things that are going on in the community, or guest ideas or show topics, things like that. And of course, we would not be coming to you at all if it were not for the generosity of our Owatonna Today Show supporters. We thank them very much. We hope you do as well when you're out and about, and certainly patronize their businesses and support their organizations wherever possible. Our premier supporters include the Safe and Drug-Free Coalition of Steele County, Owatonna Public Utilities, Mayo Clinic Health System Owatonna, Express Employment Professionals, and the City of Owatonna. Primary supporters, Steele County Historical Society, the Owatonna Care Center, Little Theater of Owatonna, and Amy Swain Hearing Centers. And our interlude supporters are TPS Insurance, Summit Mortgage, Snap Fitness, Profinium Financial, Pizza Ranch of Owatonna, the Owatonna Business Incubator, Napa Auto Parts, Clancher and Son Landscaping and Concrete, Horizon Eye Care Professionals, Fairview Animal Medical Center, ERA Gillespie Real Estate, Carlson Branstad and Company CPAs, Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clare Bridge of Owatonna, Glenn Mager and Tim Thomas of the Brick Mager Funeral Home and Medford Funeral Home, also A+ Soenvac and Abraham Consulting Technologies. If you're interested in becoming a supporter of the show or know of someone who might be, please get a hold of Leanne at 390-5751. She'll be happy to get you a supporter packet. And if you would ever like to make a contribution to the program, you can do that by sending your contribution to Owatonna Today Show, 1130 North Elm here in Owatonna. We have a very good show for you today. Lots of information coming up. We'll be back after our first break talking with Steele County Administrator Tom Shea, most particularly about the planned new new maintenance building. So we'll be talking a little bit about that a little bit later on in the program, out on location to do a little gardening with our Steele County Master Gardener segment. So let's take this break and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Recreational fires are allowed within the Owatonna city limits. They must be contained within a fire pit or a device designed for such use, and can be 3 feet in diameter and no more than 3 feet high. They must be 25 feet from a building or combustibles. Only untreated or unpainted woods must be used. Fires must be attended by a person at all times that are capable of extinguishing the fire. This has been a safety tip from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, we're Mark and Becky Stevens of the Owatonna Pizza Ranch.
And we support the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Matthew Butel and I play Huey.
And I'm Carolyn Stauffer and I play Pigtail, an LTO's current production of The Three Little Pigs Out West, directed by John Terrell and sponsored by Federated Insurance.
Performances of The Three Little Pigs Out West will be held Friday and Saturday, June 15th and 16th at 7:30 p.m. with a matinee on Sunday, June 17th at 2 p.m.
And again the following Thursday through Saturday, June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at 7:30 p.m.
Tickets are available at the LTO box office by calling 451-0764.
Don't miss LTO's production of Three Little Pigs Out West.
Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us on our Friday, June 15th program. And we welcome Steele County Administrator Tom Shea. How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you, Deb.
It
Thanks
is
for
nice
having
to
me.
see. Yeah, absolutely. Since the last time when you were brand new in the position, I think. And how are things going?
They're going well.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Good.
Thank
Everything
you.
you expected in the administrator position and more.
And a little bit more, that's
Okay.
correct, yes.
Okay, and I should identify right now, of course I misspoke or whatever, I said, new maintenance building. There's actually a name for what we're going to be talking about, and it's the Public Works Service Center,
Right,
correct?
and you didn't misspeak, because what was destroyed in the flood was our maintenance shop.
Okay.
And this proposal combines both the maintenance shop and the engineering and other storage. There were actually 5 different locations that the county highway department used prior to the flood that will be combined into this one facility, or proposed.
Okay.
And so therefore the name, the Public Works Service Center.
Makes sense, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that. One thing I want to do too here for our viewers is let them know that we happen to be pre-taping this particular segment on Monday.
Correct.
So it's just ahead of the public hearing that is on Tuesday the 12th. So
That's-
at the time they're seeing this, it will be passed, but because of when we're filming it, we really can't talk about what happened at the public
Right.
hearing. But I know that, Tom, there are some things that are they're consistent. I don't want to call them concerns, questions,
Right.
potentially concerns, things that people are talking about. So we
Right.
certainly can address those today. And I think one of the ones that we were talking about before we started here was the question still comes up: why can't we use the old building? What's the matter with that?
And that does, and particularly because some of the other businesses in that area were able to repair it and are back in business. There's two major reasons. First of all, some of the original buildings were built in the 1920s, and
Wow.
they were damaged beyond repair, even if we could have at the current location. The bigger one was because the major structures were damaged beyond 50% of their value, the entire site would have had to have been raised above the floodplain. And that would have required, and I don't know if Leanne has the opportunity to zoom in
She can
on.
zoom in there. We've got a little visual to kind of show it. Isn't it bizarre to look back at some of those flood pictures too?
It is. It would have meant that the entire site would have had to have been raised up. Now, how does that differ from? And Leanne, if you could zoom right in on this one right here. This is the water line where the flood waters reached. So the entire site would have had to have been raised up about a foot higher than that.
The entire site.
The entire
That's
site.
the building site
That's
before
correct.
any building gets
Before
on top
any
of it.
building could go on top of
Wow,
it.
that's substantial.
So it would have precluded any, reusing these buildings whatsoever. They would have had to have been destroyed or taken down and then start over. And then you have a much smaller site because of modern setbacks and those types of things.
Okay.
And Leanne, as long as you're there, maybe just go back to this. This is a picture from 1965.
Okay.
This has happened before at this site. And those of us that can remember the flood of 1965, this has happened before, and it will happen again at this site. And that's why you raise the properties. Why didn't the businesses down the way you have to do that? Because they were not damaged more than 50%.
Okay.
So then it was their choice whether to repair and clean up and reuse or to do that.
Okay, so there's a very clear line there.
Right.
That 50% line that somebody had to.
That's
I mean,
correct.
It's either
And that's
over or above
building
that.
ordinance, that's
Yep.
state, federal building ordinance, that's just something that's out of our control. Now, you might, a reference point, Sterling Drug, when they built that property up to that point that I'm just talking about here. They were not flooded.
I remember hearing that,
Yes.
and I know that it's always difficult when you're building, and that they were probably maybe squawking a little bit, or just it's like, oh, really, we have to do that?
Right.
But that flood came very close.
Right. But they were
didn't-
never
but
out of
didn't flood.
business. Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So they were
Yeah.
very thankful in the end.
So that's why we can't build there.
Okay.
That's not an option.
All right. Okay. So then you had to look at other options,
Right.
opportunities, and
So-
that's where you're at right now.
So the Public Works facility, their service, it's one of the core services that the county provides, maintaining roads, the highway infrastructure for 200 and some miles of roadway. That's the primary arteries in the county. Have a fleet of 10 plow trucks and 2 graders. So in a snow event, those are out right away to open the roads. So you have to have some facility to house those and to maintain those and to service those.
Sure.
And so for the past 18 months, Facilities Committee, which is comprised of 2 county commissioners, the highway maintenance staff, architect, construction manager, representatives from the city of Owatonna, and county finance officials, really worked hard on coming up with a plan that would provide the needs on a long-term basis, not on a short-term basis, because the county said, the board said, let's look at this thing from a long-term
makes
perspective,
sense.
because county government's not going away.
No.
Okay?
No.
And what will be in the best interest to provide the most efficient operation, the most cost-effective building design that can accomplish those things. And that's the plan that the county board will be considering starting tomorrow night. Well, actually starting, they've been considering it for 18 months, but there'll be a public hearing tomorrow night, Tuesday, which I know this is on Friday.
Right.
So you may have read about this in the paper, but
Yeah, by that time.
Yeah.
Where has everything been housed in the interim here?
Well, in the interim, the county was able to secure property that used to be a Crane Creek building. It's been adequate, but it's certainly not efficient.
Sure.
There are no floor drains. The county did have to install a ventilation system that was fairly expensive, but the good thing about that is that can be relocated to a new building.
Okay.
And so we were able to do that. But the price tag on that, the lease payment on that, is over $200,000 a year,
Okay.
Plus utilities. And it's not efficient because, again, to do just basic maintenance or cleaning the trucks. Cleaning the trucks is something, why do you need to clean the trucks? Well, these aren't just hauling snow or dirt. They're really hauling gravel and salt and brine, which is extremely corrosive.
Yeah.
And if you don't clean those trucks immediately after their use, you reduce the life expectancy of that truck significantly. And the price tag for those is $230,000, $240,000, $50,000.
Yeah, so it makes sense to keep them.
If you can extend their life 2 or 3 years, that's a significant
Like preventive
savings.
medicine. We've got a $13 million price tag on the proposed. And I think it gets down to two, and we're going to run out of time before we run out of things to talk about, but everybody is what does that mean to me, the taxpayer?
It means that you're making an investment. It also is a sticker shock. The board understands that. We know that. The finance department has tried to put this in a way that it will have a minimal effect or a lesser effect on the levy. For example, a home that's valued at $155,000 over the 16 years of the proposed bond, it would be less than $720 total payment,
Over the life.
which is over the life, which is about a $45 payment annually. But again, all of this information is on the website.
We do want to direct people there because I know, Tom, there's so much information for people either before or after the hearing here. To find out a little bit more about it too, you can click on the county website. We have the information there, and I know that you said there's lots of documents and everything.
Yes.
That's all been done ahead of time, so lots of information to go get. Certainly interested in hearing more from the public as you proceed with public hearings and things, but we'll look for an update from you sometime soon.
Good.
All right, Tom, thanks for
Deb.
joining us.
Yes.
We'll take a break for our supporters, and we will, what are we doing? Heading out on location. We're going to be gardening.
Hi, this is Dave Efforts with TPS Insurance, and we are proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, I'm Matthew Camp, the new plastic surgeon at Mayo Clinic Health System of Owatonna and Albert Lee. I trained in medical school at Wake Forest in North Carolina and completed plastic surgery training in Southern California at Loma Linda. Plastic surgeons provide a wide range of aesthetic and reconstructive surgery. We operate from head to toe. I look forward to meeting you.
Hi, I'm Doug Johnson with the Owatonna Business Incubator. We're here to help small businesses start and to grow. We're a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Welcome on behalf of our Steele County Master Gardeners. We are out on location, and guess where? in a garden.
On a beautiful day.
On a beautiful day, Lorrie Rugg joins us, and we are actually in your garden. And so we're going to find out what you're doing today. Remind people, because we're out here a little bit ahead of it airing, of course, but remind people that there is actually still time to put some things in. Not maybe things that needed to be started early, but some things that
probably
can
not the
still
cool,
go.
Yeah, probably not the cool season crops. However, I did seed some lettuce and some spinach, and just maybe if I get one meal out of it before it gets too hot, that's good enough for me.
Good enough.
But tomatoes and green peppers and green beans are basically what I plant, and they like the heat, which is coming on now. So I tend to put my garden in one of the last things I do in the spring. So it is late, but I'm still going to put it in.
Okay.
And obviously, I've been working out here today.
Yeah.
And it's
And we're into June. That's why, I mean, you need to know that
exactly.
she's still going to get it.
Yep.
So, and I want to point out too, I mean, some people think you need this huge plot, and you really don't have that here with the way your yard is terraced. You just have this nice little level area. It's not huge, but it's really enough. You've got a bunch of pepper plants here by me, I think.
Yep, I do peppers and a lot of tomatoes. I've got some green beans, some lima beans, spinach and lettuce, and that's basically about all I grow. But that's what I need.
Big enough.
Yep, and this garden spot was kind of formed in the yard here when we moved in. I also have rhubarb and some onions, and my husband decided he had to do potatoes back there in the tires.
In the tires.
Yes.
Tato tires.
Yes, tato tires. So it's like, it is what it is.
Why in the tires?
Well,
I'm curious.
As they grow up, as the potatoes grow up, as you can see them starting to grow up, you add another tire layer, and then when you go to harvest the potatoes, you just remove the tires, and the potatoes are inside the tires. So it's very easy to harvest. You don't have to dig potatoes like you would in a regular garden.
Okay.
You just pull the tires off, and there the potatoes are.
There is a method to the madness.
Yep, he only gets two bunches of, or 2 hills, or whatever you want to call them. So that's his deal are the potatoes. So.
2 potato tires. All right.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Well, you are hard at work today, and I am not dressed for gardening, but you are, and we know that. So she was apologizing for the way she looked, and I said, well, what else are you going to look like when you're out in your garden and on your knees and stuff? So here you've made some rows, and you've got some,
I've got some lima
beans.
beans here, and I just basically have left to just shovel them in and just kind of pack them in.
Okay.
I've left them open, and as you can see, I kind of space beans a little bit close together because I like beans, and I usually do 2 rows of green beans real close together, so that they can kind of balance off of each other.
Yep.
So and I mark my rows here. These are old mini blinds that work great.
Oh, yeah.
A plant marker or a plant stake.
Oh, perfect.
If you need something to mark them with. And I put tomatoes along the outside here because when these are done, then I'll have, I can see
Big
some other
tomatoes.
things in here if I need to.
So now, did you grow a type of bean that's going to need something to hang on
Nope,
to?
I just grew
This
bush
a
beans.
bush bean.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are bush beans.
Okay.
I don't do pole beans. I do bush beans.
And
I like those.
we all know that if you do, you need some sort of, trellis type of thing for them to be supported with. Okay, yum.
And then I've got lots of green peppers because I love those.
I have to watch where I walk here.
When I plant peppers, this one I bought actually at our Master Gardener plant, so it came right in a peat pot. And I'm just going to plant the whole peat pot and everything.
Okay. That's the nice thing about those, isn't it? It's just in it goes.
And I tilled my soil up today, and it's nice.
I know, we were looking at your little tiller there, and that's manageable for this spot, so you're tilled and good.
For me.
For you. I know if you get too big a one, you can't even handle it.
Right. And one thing about tomatoes, I saved this one to plant for last. What people want to do is, you think you just have to stick this right in the ground like this, but
Not the best
you
plan.
want to pull these bottom leaves off.
Okay.
And then when you plant it in your hole, you don't want to just dig a shallow hole. You want to kind of dig a more elongated hole, because then when you plant your tomato, you want to kind of plant him long and kind of bend him up then.
Really?
Because where you took those leaves off, those nodes will root, and you'll have a much stronger tomato plant.
Really? I had no idea. I can guarantee you that I've always planted them just straight down. But it bent pretty easy, and it's standing straight up, and you would never know that you laid it in there sideways.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and these will need to be supported too after they come up a little ways, but you don't need to do it right now.
And I do the tomato cages. A lot of people don't like them, but for me they're pretty easy. They don't take up a ton load of space, and in my garden here I don't have a ton load, so I do use the tomato cages.
Okay.
I do have some rhubarb back here and some onions, so I try to get the most out of my small garden as I possibly can. I'm going to think maybe I'll seed some flowers around the outside just for a little color.
Just decorate.
And I did add, when I was tilling, some 10-10-10, which is a fertilizer.
Okay, and we've got the bag of it right there. So tell me what 10-10-10 actually means, or for those of our viewers who may not know.
Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash.
Okay.
That's what the 3 numbers signify. So it's just kind of an all-around general fertilizer. So I just kind of shook it in and tilled it in the ground when I was tilling it up
Okay,
this morning.
so you're not actually going in each row or with each plant because you actually worked it into the majority of the soil. Okay, as you go forward then through your gardening season in your little garden here, are you going to fertilize again?
Depending on, sometimes too much fertilizer on tomatoes will give you all tops and not enough fruit.
Okay.
So you have to kind of be careful about that. You don't want to get too much nitrogen on your tomatoes. I do come back in and mulch with grass clippings when we cut the grass so that I don't have to be quite so worried about watering.
Okay.
And I do get a good afternoon sun here, shaded kind of in the morning, but in the afternoon it provides enough sun to get
it's going to come
some
over right there and give you some good sun. So, and they love the sun.
Yep, and I've added black dirt, I've added compost, I've added manure over the years just to kind of keep the soil good.
As rich as it can be.
Yep.
So I have to laugh because Lorrie was just telling me before we started what the purpose of the hose was here. One might see it around the garden and think that maybe it's a sprinkler hose, and she said, nope, it's really not serving that purpose. So
No, I read in a magazine somebody had trouble with rabbits, and they said wind out an old garden hose around the outside of your garden and rabbits will think it's a snake.
And they'll stay away.
They'll stay away. And so one year I had really bad trouble with rabbits, and I didn't want to go to the fence quite at that point. So I thought, well, I'm going to try it. So I had this old hose, the ends were broken off and yucky, so it's around the garden.
Does it work?
I don't know. You know, I try lots of different things. I hate to do the liquid fence, and I hate a fence, so I try anything possible to avoid all of that stuff. So.
Isn't that funny? And so those maybe the little critters will think, oh my gosh, that's just, they'll go somewhere else, find somebody else's garden that doesn't have a hose around it. Okay.
The other thing you just want to mention, if people don't have a garden plot, they can do.
Let's take a look at the little pot up here.
I've got a bowl. You can certainly do lettuce bowls. You can get some, fairly good dirt in here. Seed some lettuce right in this container, and you can put it on your deck or your patio.
And how pretty too.
And you'd have some lettuce if you want some lettuce. The other thing, you can grow tomatoes in pots too. Some of the bigger 12-inch pots. You can certainly get a tomato plant, put a cage in it even if you need to, and you can have tomatoes on your patio.
Okay, so that's a good point though. If people are putting tomatoes in pots, you're not just going to get these little guys and put them in a pot. They need to get their roots going in order to get a good tomato plant, right?
Yep.
So it needs to be in something
pretty good
probably
size.
this size or bigger?
Yep, I would say 12-inch to 14-inch is a pretty good sized pot for a tomato.
Okay, and then they'll grow up. And you're going to have to support them in there too, because if they start shooting up, you're going to have to do that. Do you keep your tomatoes cut back at all? Do you prune them back? I heard sometimes somebody said if you actually, I'm thinking of flowers and deadheading, but if you actually kind of prune them back, they'll stay bushier, and actually you might get more fruit. I don't know.
Well, they're not supporting so much of the leaf, and the more of the energy is going into the tomato. So, and especially if there's a lot of foliage, you want to cut it back so that the sunshine can go down into the tomato plant as well and ripen that fruit. So sometimes it depends on the growing year.
All right. And this year we've started awfully early. I know we were taking a look at your other garden down here on the terrace, and Lorrie was just commenting that everything, because of the weather this year, is very, very early. We're at the very first part of June here, and things are blooming, and we're worried about what that means for fall. We might not be quite as pretty as we normally are if everything keeps going early, but it sure looks pretty right now. And there's not much we can do about it.
Nope, you just enjoy it while you can.
Yep. Last time we just briefly mentioned the community garden. That's up and running now too. So if people want to stop by and take a look, no plots available, I don't think anymore, but
they can certainly do that. And in August, hopefully we'll film out there so we can see the fruits of everyone's labors out there. And see how it looks.
So they're out there working. So take a look at that, and that's behind OCUC kind of, or off to the
It's just down that road, whatever road that is out there.
Yeah,
it's
you'll
just
see
right
it.
next to it. Because we've got a nice sign there now that says Steele County Community Garden.
And good for those of you if you got in on it. And it's good to note that it's been as popular as it has, and there's room to grow. So if it's doing well out there this year and continues to do so,
we might add more plots next year.
Yep, give a contact. Get a hold of them and let them know that you might be interested next year. Anything going on now with the Master Gardeners other than getting ready for fair, answering people's questions? You had your plant sale at the farmers market.
Yep, we had a very good plant sale. We are going to be Thursday Night Live downtown this Thursday night in front of Cedar Floral with a little demonstration because it's the Ag Night at Thursday Night Live this week.
Okay.
So we're going to be there, but that'll probably be done by the time this airs.
Okay.
But we've got other things popping.
Very nice. Well, Lorrie, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks to our Steele County Master Gardeners for supporting this particular segment of our show. It's always wonderful for us to be out here, if not really digging in the dirt, kind of living vicariously through you and digging in the dirt with you, Lorrie. Thank you so much. And we thank our Owatonna Today Show viewers for joining us in Lorrie's garden here on location today for the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, Warren Abraham, Abraham Consulting Technologies, your one-stop technology shop. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress.
Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do.
Owatonna Public Utilities.
Hello, I'm Shaw McNulty with the Sterling House Assisted Living, a part of Brookdale Senior Living. Our mission is to enrich the lives of those we serve with compassion, respect, excellence, and integrity. We are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
And it's time to wrap up our Owatonna Today show here on this Friday, June 15th, with a reminder that the first annual Steele County Humane Society garage sale begins today from noon to 6 and continues tomorrow, Saturday, June 16th, from 9 till 3 o'clock. It's a busy weekend for the Humane Society. They also have they will be at Farmers Market this Saturday, and I think in upcoming Saturdays, selling goods to support the Humane Society. And their Pet Adoption Day is tomorrow, Saturday, at Hometown Motors from 1 to 3. Young Life Golf Tournament is going on tomorrow. It's a 4-person scramble. Get a hold of the Young Life office if you're still interested in taking part in that. Don't know if you can, but 451-9401 is the number to call. Harry Wanger Marching Band Festival is going on this Saturday, tomorrow, from I think beginning at 11 o'clock, with all the bands marching through town and being judged in a great festival event here that we have. You're invited to treat Dad to a family outing at the Owatonna Arts Center, and then perhaps the Little Theater of Owatonna at the Arts Center on this coming Sunday, June 17th, which is Father's Day. From 11:30 to 1, there will be a You Betcha Dog hot dog stand serving up Chicago-style hot dogs, chips, and a cold drink. It's a great for a picnic affair. The kids can enjoy also a 4-H petting zoo that's going to be there, and then you can head on over to see the Three Little Pigs Out West being performed at 2 o'clock that afternoon, so just walk on over to the theater after you're done. Catholic Daughters announce, Court 1180 announces their annual potluck supper next Monday, June 18th at 6 o'clock at the Sacred Heart Parish Center. Bring your own table service and a dish to pass, beverages and dessert furnished by the committee. For more information, call Ramona Wesley, 451-5047. The next meeting for the Steele County Safety Council is next Wednesday, June 20th. They'll be talking about food safety at home, at work, and even out camping here in the summertime. Presented by Rachel Valesano. I'm probably killing the name, Valesano, I think. And she's a registered dietitian who will be talking about all those safety aspects. Again, as always, it is at the Elks Club with an 11:30 to noon lunch buffet, and then a 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock presentation for the Steele County Safety Council. Little Theater of Owatonna announces that Emma Hellevick, Wartburg College student and 2011 Medford High School graduate, is the 2012 Sarah Foreman Post-Secondary Memorial Scholarship recipient. Congratulations to Emma Hellevick. She is the daughter of Brian and Amy Hellevick of Medford, and she will be awarded that $1,000 scholarship, in fact, this evening, opening night of the LTO production of Three Little Pigs Out West, so congratulations to her. Owatonna Foundation is pleased to make eligible $10,000 to its students who will be attending non-4-year programs at Technical and Community College to prepare themselves for technical careers. They're non-traditional scholarships. They're due by June 25th, so a little bit of time to grab that application either from the Foundation's website or calling Jill Holmes at 455-3059. That's 455-3059. Coming up next week, we'll be enjoying Leanne's recent trip to Mackinac Island in Michigan. We'll have our Owatonna Owatonna Care Center on. We'll be talking about a prairie tour, City of Owatonna update, and Build the Barns Bash for the Steele County Free Fair. That's all next week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you then.